What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
You know, there's levels to this.
Caitlin Clark's journey in the WNBA has been nothing short of remarkable. When she entered the league, she faced immense pressure and scrutiny, with many questioning how her game would translate against seasoned veterans. Even WNBA legend Diana Taurasi famously warned her that reality is coming, sparking a debate that divided fans and analysts alike.
So in your career, you got to match up against other Nike hoopers. Do you have a favorite matchup?
You're gonna get me in trouble. Honestly, I'll just say DT because she's such an icon in our sport and has been in the game for so long. You know, getting to share the court with her was pretty fun, and you just see her competitive spirit. Even though you're not on her team, you can just feel it as a competitor.
Some saw Taurasi's words as tough love from a veteran who had seen it all, while others believed it was a dismissal of Clark's potential. The controversy only fueled the anticipation for Clark's professional debut, and every WNBA arena she stepped into felt like a proving ground. The expectations were sky high, and every move she made was analyzed under a microscope.
That's just life. We all went through it.
Of course.
And you see it on the NBA side, and you're going to see it on this side, where, you look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time.
But Clark didn't just meet those expectations, she shattered them. From the moment she stepped onto the court, she wasn't just adjusting to the league. She was redefining what a rookie season could look like. She quickly became one of the league's top scorers, setting a blistering pace that caught even her harshest critics off guard.
Caitlin Clark is way better, way sooner than anybody thought.
The so-called reality check that many thought was coming for Clark never arrived. Instead, it was the league itself that had to adjust to her. With every game, she wasn't just proving she belonged. She was proving she was already one of the best. She wasn't just another highly touted prospect. She was a seismic shift for the WNBA. Her performances weren't just about personal accolades, they were changing the landscape of the league.
Caitlin Clark is a superstar. Not a female superstar, she is a superstar.
We were coming to see Caitlin Clark play.
She moves the needle. The WNBA has been looking for someone who moves the needle.
Clark's three-point shooting, playmaking, and leadership were turning heads. And even Taurasi, who had once questioned her, had to acknowledge what was happening. As the season progressed, Clark's stats became undeniable. She set records at an unprecedented rate, becoming the fastest player in WNBA history to hit 100 three-pointers in a season.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
More history for the favorite rookie.
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
By the end of the regular season, she had broken 62 WNBA records, a staggering number for any player, let alone a rookie. She finished the season averaging 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game, leading all rookies in scoring while finishing first in the league in both three-pointers made and assists. This wasn't just a promising rookie making an impact. This was a superstar in the making. The defining moment of Clark's season came against none other than Taurasi's Phoenix Mercury. Their matchups quickly became some of the most highly anticipated games of the year, and Clark didn't. Just rise to the occasion, she dominated.
I knew the atmosphere was going to be electric when they announced Caitlin's name in the dark and the fans went crazy.
Big things are in store for the W, and it's because of Caitlin Clark.
In one standout performance, she dropped 29 points, 10 assists, and 5 rebounds, leading the Indiana Fever to a statement victory. More importantly, she and her team swept Taurasi's Mercury in their season series, sending a clear message that a new era had arrived. This wasn't just about a rookie versus a veteran. It was a symbolic moment where the league's past and future collided, and Clark emerged victorious.
WNBA has seen record-breaking numbers this season in viewership, ticket sales, merch sales, and just overall growth of the league.
But Clark's impact extended far beyond her individual stats. Her presence in the league. caused a massive surge in interest for women's basketball. Viewership skyrocketed, with WNBA broadcasts regularly outpacing NHL ratings, a shift that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago.
Why do we say thank you 7,427 times?
The GOAT delivers again!
One for every day we were proud to have you wear our uniform.
Diana Taurasi!
Face of the franchise just doesn't cut it for someone who has been the Mercury heartbeat for 20 of our 28 seasons.
Hey, let's go!
If this is it, how do we thank someone not for what they did, but what they gave?
Merchandise sales soared, arenas sold out. For fever games, and mainstream media coverage reached levels the WNBA had never seen before. The Caitlin Clark effect wasn't just a media buzzword. It was a real, measurable force that was transforming the league. While Clark was setting the league on fire, Taurasi was facing a very different reality.
Not just how you scored, but how you competed.
Not just how you celebrated the wins, but how you hated to lose.
If this is it, thank you for letting us share in the joy.
For the banners and the MVPs.
For 10,000.
For getting to see you on that medal stand 6 times.
For letting us call you GOAT, even though you hated it.
And for the technicals where you really got your money's worth.
If this is it, thank you for the sacrifices.
Once the most dominant player, in the WNBA, she now found herself dealing with reduced minutes, declining production, and growing speculation about her future. For years, she had been the gold standard in the league, but now she was watching a new star take center stage. The conversation about her retirement only intensified as the season progressed.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Kelsey Mitchell's balling, Caitlin continuing to impress, and she's going to break records nonstop for the next couple years. Yeah. It's just going to be a constant record break.
As Clark's name was being etched into the record books, Taurasi's presence on the court was becoming less dominant. It raised an important question. Was this the moment when the torch was being passed? Then came the Olympic roster announcement, adding another layer to the ongoing narrative. Taurasi secured a spot on Team USA, continuing her legendary Olympic career, while Clark was left off the roster.
Why does everybody hate Caitlin Clark? And do you hate Caitlin Clark? Come on, talk
dude.
to me.
Absolutely not. I think that she's a gem. I didn't know her, but All-Star Weekend, we kind of bantered back and forth a little bit. And she's lovely. She has a lot of pressure on her shoulders. And I think a lot of people always have a lot to say with people they don't even know or shoes they've never been in. And for me, I think she's handling the pressure very well. She's doing a lot of great things for women's basketball. And I'm a fan. I would love to play with her one day.
The decision sent shockwaves through the basketball world, sparking heated debates about whether politics played a role. How could the player who had single-handedly elevated the league's popularity be excluded? The backlash was immediate, and suddenly, the divide between Taurasi and Clark supporters deepened even further. But something unexpected happened. During one of their games, cameras captured Taurasi putting her arm around Clark, a small but significant gesture that shifted the narrative. It wasn't a grand statement or a viral soundbite, but it was a moment of recognition. For those paying attention, it was clear. This was respect.
I mean, it's amazing. What Caitlin's been able to do in her short career so far has just been nothing short of remarkable. And the one thing that I really love about her, she loves the game. You can tell she's put the work in. And even, throughout, her short WNBA career, it's been a lot of pressure, a lot of things thrown at her. And, she keeps showing up and keeps getting better every single game. So her future is super bright. And, being a veteran and being in this league for a long, long time, it's pretty cool to see that and, going into the future.
It was an unspoken acknowledgement that Clark had earned her place among the greats. Taurasi, who once questioned whether Clark could handle the league, was now seeing firsthand that she wasn't just living up to the hype, she was surpassing.
For the injuries we never knew about.
For 365-day seasons.
for allowing a city you'd never visited to become your family's home.
If this is it, thank you for the moments.
As the season unfolded, Taurasi's perspective seemed to evolve. At first, her words were guarded, but over time, they became more complimentary. Then, in a post-game interview that caught many off guard, Taurasi openly praised Clark's impact. What Caitlin has accomplished in such a short time is truly incredible, she admitted. Coming from one of the most respected figures in WNBA history, that statement carried immense weight. It wasn't just another veteran giving a rookie some credit. It was a legendary player recognizing that a new force had arrived.
Caitlin, with tomorrow being the first matchup in your career against Diana Taurasi, does that bring any sort of extra excitement for you?
Yeah, for sure. Like, that's just somebody I grew up, idolizing and, looking up to and wanting to be like one day. So, obviously she's one of the greatest players our game has ever seen, greatest scorer our game has ever seen. So for me, I'm excited. That's fun. It's almost kind of like a dream come true in a way. You get to live out your dream while playing against the best. One of the best there ever has been. So it's fun for me, for sure.
This wasn't just about individual players anymore. It was about the transformation of the WNBA itself. Clark's rapid rise and Taurasi's response symbolized something bigger. It was a visible shift from one generation to the next, a moment where the past, present, and future of women's basketball all converged. The game was changing, and the league was evolving right before our eyes. Clark's professionalism throughout all of this didn't go unnoticed. While debates raged online and analysts dissected every quote, she never engaged in unnecessary drama.
It feels good to be home! For the passes we didn't see coming.
And the shots we knew were going in before they left your hand.
Diana's done it! She is one of one!
Thank you not just for the elimination game win.
Taurasi a 3 for the lead!
But for what it felt like to have you on our side on those nights.
Taurasi, the pull-up is good, and the foul!
Fire the laughs for loving the game and never cheating it.
She never fired back at Taurasi, never made the rivalry personal, and never took cheap shots in interviews. Instead, she let her game do the talking. When asked about Taurasi's comments, she always kept it respectful, emphasizing her admiration for the WNBA legend while keeping the focus on her team's success. It wasn't just media training. It was who Clark was. She wasn't here to tear down the past. She was here to honor it, even as she rewrote history. By the end of the season, even Clark's harshest critics had to acknowledge the truth. She wasn't just the best rookie in the league, she was the future of the WNBA. More eyes were on women's basketball than ever before, attendance records were being shattered, and the sport was growing at a rate that no one had predicted. Clark wasn't just a great player, she was a game changer. And even Taurasi, one of the most competitive players in league history, couldn't deny it anymore. Perhaps the most significant lesson in all of this was that rivalries don't always have to be hostile. The story of Clark and Taurasi proved that competition and respect could go hand in hand. Their dynamic wasn't about tearing each other down, it was about pushing the game forward. Young players watching saw more than just two elite athletes competing. They saw a model for how to handle success, criticism, and expectations with grace. Taurasi's journey from skeptic to believer mirrored the evolution of the league itself. The WNBA was growing, changing, and breaking new ground, and Caitlin Clark was at the center of it all. As Taurasi's career wound down, a new chapter was beginning, and the torch was being passed, whether she wanted to admit it or not. The most exciting part? This is just the beginning for Caitlin Clark. She's only getting started. Are you excited for what's next? Let us know in the comments, like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss an update.